Hello, my name is Earl Strasbaugh. I spent 19 years as a firefighter working for a local municipal fire department. And within that time, I spent 8 years as an American Heart Association instructor teaching CPR to both professional rescuers and to the lay public. A quick story that I like to share at the beginning of all my classes is we were dispatched for a cardiac arrest out on a golf course. Getting to the patient ended up being very challenging. We actually had to commandeer some golf carts and put all of our equipment on it and get out to the 9th hole, which wasn't anywhere close to where our fire engine showed up. But when we did arrive, we were probably 10-15 minutes into the incident, which isn't good for something that involves CPR. You'll hear with some of my points later that doing CPR early and fast actually enhances the rate of survival in any patient or person. But anyway, we arrived about 10 or 15 minutes into the incident, and the patient was actually receiving CPR by a bystander there on the golf course. And if it weren't for the quick actions of that bystander providing the CPR quickly, that patient would have been more likely to have not made it. So since that quick acting bystander initiated CPR, short version of the story is that person is still alive today, and the bystander was awarded a life-saving award from our fire department and our city council a few months later. So you never know when you're going to get put in a situation where you might need to provide CPR. It's important, I think, to at least have an idea or a plan, or consider within your own thoughts whether or not that's something that you could do. But why not know it in case you do feel like you need to use it? So what is CPR? CPR is cardiopulmonary resuscitation. And what it is it's an artificial restart, or actually a sustained pumping of the heart using an artificial means, whether that be through somebody actually doing hands-on CPR or with another form of artificial means. So recognizing the need for starters, you might see somebody who's down, you don't know why they're down, or somebody's coming to you saying help, somebody's hurt, somebody's this or whatever. The first thing that you always have to consider is why that person is down, or why they're not breathing, or why they don't have a pulse. It might not just be because of a heart attack or some medical emergency. There might be something that could put you in danger too. So consider that first. Always consider your safety. We call it scene safety. And then second is make sure that you know somebody has called 911. It could be you. Maybe call 911, put it on speakerphone and set it next to you. 911, the dispatchers will walk you through everything. So next we want to check for a pulse. Ideally we check closest to the heart as we can. You can check out here on the wrists for a radial pulse, but ideally check for a carotid pulse. If they have no pulse, that's when you're going to want to start CPR. So we go to the center of the chest and we just go palm over palm, just like that. And considering the anatomy of the patient, how big they are, if it's an adult, my size, 225 pounds, you're going to want to push really hard. Ideally, 1.5 to 2 inches if you can. If you hear ribs break, that's common. You're not hurting them if they're already dying. So just push hard, push fast, and we want to do it at a rate of 100 beats per minute. If you can remember the song Staying Alive by the Bee Gees and just have that rhythm going in your head, that's going to give you about 100 beats per minute. Like I said, consider the size of the patient. If it's a smaller patient, maybe just use one hand. If it's an infant, hopefully it's not. But if it's an infant, you can use 2 fingers, just like that. And then basically you're just going to keep going until somebody relieves you, whether it's EMS or another person is able to intervene, because you will get tired. American Heart Association recommends 2 minutes per person, or 2 minutes per person before switching. The other reason that you might stop is if an automatic external defibrillator showed up, an AED, to shock the heart. So those are the the things that you want to consider, there's certainly classes that you can take that'll help you go into more depth into learning this. But that's the gist of it. Remember that by helping or by starting CPR, you're not making the situation worse. You're actually you're doing something that might affect a good outcome. Whereas if nothing was done, obviously we might entirely avoid a good outcome. And lastly, most importantly, just like I said in the beginning, initiating CPR early doubles, sometimes triples the chances of a person surviving once going into cardiac arrest. So, hope everybody enjoyed. Thank you very much.